Hello and welcome to the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series recap show. Beautiful look here at Del Mar. Brittany Erden alongside Gabby Gaudet as we take a look back to some of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races, many of them focused on the turf racing, which we know how exciting it is, close finishes, big fields. So as we are a little bit less than 80 days away from the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, do we see these divisions getting a little bit tighter, a little bit more clear?
Yeah, I think so. Certain divisions more so than others. I think we still have a ways to go with the Classic division, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But certain divisions, I think they're becoming a bit more clear.
And that's what makes it exciting. Okay, to kick off our recap show, let's head overseas to England. It was a Juddmonte International, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So what was on the line at York? Well, again, automatic entry into the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic on November 5th at Keeneland. $150,000 in entry fees paid by the Breeders' Cup, $10,000 award to the nominator, and up to $40,000 travel allowance for international runners. And the big question was, could BAAEED stay undefeated? Let's see what happened in the Juddmonte International.
Now to the final 2.5 furlongs, unknown territory from here on in for BAAEED as he eases into contention. Mishriff has struck the front. Mishriff going on here as they race down towards the final furlong and a half. Jim Crowley's hardly moving on BAAEED. Now he's asking him to pick up this leader, and the response is instantaneous. And BAAEED gallops past Mishriff and goes on inside the final furlong. That was really impressive, and Jim Crowley's looking round here. And this is going to be brilliant. There's no question he loves the distance, and it's a perfect 10 for BAAEED in the Juddmonte. Wow, he's won by 6 lengths.
The race caller just as impressed as we are. BAAEED stays undefeated and takes the Group 1 Juddmonte International Stakes.
10 for 10 for BAAEED, and I mean, he just keeps getting better and better. This horse gives you so much goosebumps every time he races. He's the top-rated horse in the entire world, and he absolutely put on a show earlier this morning. Now, you know, I wish he could come here.
Me too.
Can we get him?
We can do all we can, right? He is qualified now for the Breeders' Cup 3 times, twice for the FanDuel Mile, and now once here for the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. Truly sensational and impeccably managed by trainer William Haggis and jockey Jim Crowley, riding him to victory. Yes, the question mark was, can he handle the distance? I'm pretty sure he put an explanation point, yes.
What did he win by? 6 lengths? Over 6 lengths? He demolished that field. So I would say yes, period.
Unlikely he'll come out here, but one can dream, right? Okay, so we'll go from England to France in Deauville. It was the Prix Jacques Le Marois, and a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup FanDuel Mile. What's at stake here? As mentioned, FanDuel Mile on November 5th, $60,000 in entry fees, $10,000 award to the nominator, and again, up to $40,000 for a travel allowance for international runners. So this is huge. A Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the FanDuel Mile. Let's see how it played out.
As well, just over 2 furlongs to go, still on the right. Bathrat Leon has the advantage here. INSPIRAL in the centres come through to challenge. Light Infantry's there with a chance. Erevan behind those. Caribus is on the extreme left, but it's INSPIRAL from Erevan, and nearest to us a massive run from Light Infantry as they approach the closing stages. INSPIRAL, the red jacket, she's just in front and has won.
INSPIRAL with an inspiring performance in the Group 1 Prix Jacques Le Marois.
And this is her 3rd Group 1 victory. She is just in such good form. Obviously, this win came under Frankie Dettori, and she has a lovely pedigree to kind of back up her wins. She is a daughter of Frankel. The connection said the key to her was relaxing early in the early stages of the race. She did that. She had enough left to get her 3rd Group 1 win.
She's an exciting horse. I had the opportunity to see her win at Royal Ascot. She secured herself a spot in the FanDuel Mile at Keeneland. Okay, so we went overseas. Let's take things stateside to the Spa, where they had some very exciting turf racing, including the Grade 1 Fourstardave. I think a lot of people wondering, could the female upset the boys, as many have done in the past in the Fourstardave? What's at stake for this win and you're in race? Well, automatic entry also into the FanDuel Mile on November 5th. You've got the Breeders' Cup fees paid, an award to the nominator, and a $10,000 travel travel allowance if based outside of Kentucky. Let's see how the Fourstardave unfolded.
CASA Creed follows the move of Regal Glory as they head for home now. It is Get Smokin', Mason on the outside, Regal Glory, and they're moving now for the 16th pole. It's Get Smokin', it's Mason, it's CASA Creed on the outside, and then Regal Glory. Here is CASA Creed, who makes the last move, the winning move in the Fourstardave Handicap. CASA Creed ran the mile in 1 minute, 34 1/5 seconds.
Is there a cooler horse than CASA Creed?
No, absolutely not. So CASA Creed, you know, the majority of his career, Brittany, he's been sprinting on the turf. This was actually his first group grade 1 victory going around 2 turns, and he showed that he can handle it with ease. And in all honesty, I think he's a horse that just continues to get better and better and better, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Breeders' Cup Mile come November.
He also has secured himself a spot into the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint by winning the Jiffer earlier this year. So this horse has options, but by this win in the Grade 1 Fourstardave, secured himself a spot in the FanDuel Mile. Another victory for Belmont, Luis Saez, and CASA Creed. So we go from upstate New York. We'll make our way down south to Kentucky at Churchill Downs, where the Beverly D was run for the first time. It's so nice to see those stakes races continued now that Arlington Park is closed. So what was at stake for these fillies and mares? Well, automatic entry into the $2 million Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf on November 5th. Entry fees paid by the Breeders' Cup, $10,000 award to the nominator, and up to $10,000 travel allowance if based outside of Kentucky. Let's look back at the Beverly D.
Princess Grace to the attack. Princess Grace comes on to take the lead. DALIKA tries to fight on from second. Family Ways back in third. Lillipod, Rougier, 1 furlong to go. Princess Grace short lead. DALIKA's coming back down inside. Here comes DALIKA right back at Princess Grace. DALIKA's re-rally to take the lead. DALIKA in the Beverly D.
She was really all heart in that win, Gabby.
And she was a minor upset there. She went off at 7:01 to get that victory. I would say that this is one of the tougher divisions that I think we still need some clarity moving forward. I mean, if you think of the others in here, in Italian, technical analysis, Bleecker Street, Regal Glory, those are some other fillies in this and mares in the division. But she stamped herself as, you know, one of the contenders moving forward to November.
It was really nice to hear a quote from jockey Brian Hernandez, who took over for the late Miguel Mena. Miguel Mena would ride DALIKA quite often. He said, I rode her like Miguel would have. So an ode to him and his friend. So DALIKA secured her spot in the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf. Let's get more on this race from Scott Hazelton.
Well, following DALIKA's victory in the Grade 1 Beverly D, these connections have some decisions to make moving forward after they pick up an automatic berth into the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. She is not Breeders' Cup nominated. I had a chance to speak with Dora Delgado of Breeders' Cup Limited and ask what the connections, their options are moving forward. And she said at this stage in the calendar, moving towards the beginning of November at Keeneland Racecourse, their only option is if they want to nominate, it will cost $200,000 to nominate DALIKA because of the fact that they did not nominate her during the early window of this season. She's moved past that. But the benefit that she gets if she nominates late, if for some reason they would have to scratch her out of the Breeders' Cup, that $200,000 nomination is refundable. So by them waiting, it would cost more, but they do have that benefit because if they would have nominated early for $100,000, that is not refundable. And one of the reasons that she has to pay this much, her connections have to pay this much, is because her stallion Pistorius is not Breeders' Cup nominated. So the bottom line is, if DALIKA is to run in the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, her connections have to sign a check to the Breeders' Cup for a cool $200,000.
Whew. It's a pretty penny right there, but could all be worth it, right?
It might be worth it.
It could be.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. There's no doubt about it. But I do think that the fact that it is refundable, I think it gives them a little bit more of an incentive.
Definitely. So we'll look forward to hopefully seeing DALIKA in the filly and mare turf. Okay, great grass racing in the past, but what we always look forward to is the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. And every week, a panel of industry members vote on the rankings, how they feel these horses line up. And basically, since the beginning, since this leaderboard came out, Flightline has been atop of it.
He's one of the most, if not the most exciting horse in training right now, and we'll be able to see him in the TVG Pacific Classic in just a few weeks' time. We've seen other horses on this leaderboard already race. Flightline's last race was in the Met Mile, so he will be coming in off of a layoff. But Life is Good was sensational. Epicenter proved that, in a frustrating Triple Crown season, kind of got back on track. Country Grammar, I think he's going to improve. The Connection's already saying that the distance of the San Diego was too short, so he should improve with the TVG Pacific Classic. Yeah, there's still some time. I think the biggest question is Flightline and what he will do in the TVG Pacific Classic.
If Flightline romps in the Pacific Classic and mile and a quarter is of no question mark to him, then he is well above the rest of the field, I would probably say. But right now, looking at it, because he still has questions to answer, it is a deep and competitive field, which is what makes the racing so exciting.
And it's kind of an interesting course to get to the Pacific Classic this year. It's not very often you see a horse go from the Met Mile to the Pacific Classic. That's a really tough test. And he might even be able to go that distance, but will he be fit? Will he be ready to take on, top caliber horses at that distance? We'll find out.
Yeah, that is the question. Okay, we are less than 80 days away from the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. Cannot wait. So stick with us here on the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series recap shows, where we will be taking a look back and always a look forward, because much more to come, especially from York. We saw BAAEED take the Juddmonte International. They'll have more great racing action coming from England as well. Deauville, the Darley Prix Morny, that is on Sunday the 21st. So stay tuned. More opportunities to secure a spot in the starting gate November 4th and 5th at Keeneland. I'm excited. You excited?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. It feels like it's right around the corner. It'll be here in no time. For Gabby Gaudet, Brittany Earn, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series recap show, and we're live from Del Mar.